Morning, friends. Hello, hello. We're almost ready to start. Be with you shortly. Welcome to the YouTube studio, guys. We'll get started in 3 minutes. I'm going to do some smudging. So if you guys have a smudge tool, if you want to go ahead and prepare your space. Hi. You can go ahead and do that. And I know that Kelly and Paul are here. Leslie, are you here yet? Can you type in the chat box? We cleanse this space for our collective practice of connection and release. And expansion. We call in the 4 directions, the 5 elements, our spirit guides, our animal guides, guardians, ancestors who have our best interests at heart. May we all come together in growth and learning and love. So it is swaha, hum pat swaha. If you don't have a smudge tool, you can just imagine me cleansing your space for you. Maybe you can smell that. It's cedar and sage flowers, and this was sustainably harvested from my friend. Her name is Jill. You want to make sure that your sage is sustainably harvested. It's really important. Beth is here. Elizabeth. Hello, hello. Elizabeth, we are just smudging, so if you have your smudge tool, you can go ahead and do that. And if you have your favorite oil, you can grab your favorite essential oil. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. We are waiting on Leslie. So let me just pop over and see if she has sent me a note just to make sure. Okay, great. Okay. Oh, nice. Elizabeth, sage and orange oil, yum, yum. So here I have cedarwood, bergamot, and myrrh. And this is from my favorite company, Third Generation Herbals, thirdgenerationherbal.com. It's in the video notes if you guys are interested. This is my friend Jen, who lives in Oregon now. She used to live in Wilmington. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and put a couple of drops of your oil in your hand. So far, Oh, it smells so good. So far, we've gotten requests for core strength and balance. Do you guys have any requests? Paul has requested, let me just look back up here, inverted bicycle, shoulder stand, plow, and feet. And guys, it's Paul's birthday. And Paul is a frontline worker in the emergency department of a hospital. So let's send some love to Paul. Yay! Happy birthday, Paul. Thanks for sharing your birthday with us. Leslie, if you're here, can you type in the chat box? I'd love to see if anybody else is here. If you can type in the chat box, let me know. And I'm going to step back, so I won't be able to see your chat. I'll come around and check it out every now and then, but we're just going to go ahead and start because it is 10:30. Thank you all for being here. It's lovely to be with you. Even though I can't see you, I can feel you, and thank you. So let's step back here to my little abode. So welcome. Ow. I just kicked my harmonium. That's kind of pretty much what the last, I'd say like week and a half-ish has been like for me, last couple of weeks. It's just been kind of painful, but also kind of funny. It's more funny now that we're out of the painful part, and it comes in waves. And that's kind of exactly what I'd love to share with you all today. And I'm gonna come sit up there so I can hear you, and then when we chant, I'll come back here. So last week, we were gonna do the live stream, but I was just having a moment, and I just canceled the practice. So thank you all for showing up this week. Sorry about last week. Sometimes we just need a minute. I felt like I didn't have anything to give, and I really needed to be honest about that. So that is what we're talking about today. We're going to discuss a couple of the sutras from the Pratyabhijna Hrydaya Tantra. It's a text from the 16th century, and it means the recognition of the heart. And it's about consciousness herself and how consciousness goes through stages. Someone's texting me, sorry. Just make sure it's not one of the students. Okay, no? Okay, so consciousness itself goes through stages, and we're going to talk about those stages. And the Pratyabhijna Hrydaya Tantra is from the Tantric school of philosophy, which is a goddess lineage. Oh, yay, Leslie's here. Hi, Leslie. Welcome. We were talking about the 16th century Tantric text, the Pratyabhijna Hrydaya Tantra, which means the recognition of the heart. So everything that we experience in our life is contraction and expansion and all of the different shades in between. And it feels like we are riding the waves. And yeah, backbends, heart openers. How can we surrender to that? That's what I was practicing the last couple of weeks. I felt like absolute shit. Excuse my language, but I did. And I practiced simply being in that space and not trying to swallow it down or temper my mood so that I could maybe make other people comfortable, or to convince myself that I wasn't feeling the way that I'm feeling. Because when we do that, we're discounting a whole portion of our experience. Okay, like there's a difference between like just straight up running around and being rude to everybody and projecting all of your stuff onto them. There's a difference between that and just being honest about not feeling good and not being okay. So when we can be honest about how we're actually feeling, the more that we practice that, the more that we can understand what our needs are behind and underneath the feelings. What are our deepest values, and how are our unmet needs causing us to feel this way? Because it's just a natural part of life, the ups and downs, the expansion and contraction. So how can we meet our needs so that we don't expect them from others, or put our happiness in other people's hands, or just grasp so much and cling so much? So I love that Elizabeth suggested back bends, because that's the yogic posture that represents our willingness to kind of lean back into the support of Mother Nature herself, Ma, Shakti, the goddess, and to practice Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana is one of the niyamas, which is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and that is surrendering to the divine. And surrendering to the divine as it has manifested herself through us in this body, in this life, right now, in the present moment. So that means that part of us surrendering to the divine is being able to be okay and to be comfortable even in discomfort, even when we're not feeling great, even when everything feels like it's falling apart and you don't know, when you're going to feel better again, and it just doesn't feel good. So we go through that. It's a normal, natural practice of life. And because we are collectively attached to pleasure, we have a really hard time feeling discomfort. And then also, and especially I think sometimes as empaths and givers and yogis, we have a hard time, telling people that that's how we actually feel, because when sometimes in America, I've noticed that people just say, "How are you?" And it's not, I want to know how you are. It's simply just a greeting. So if you were in that moment to, someone that doesn't know you very well, to answer that question honestly, not many people want to hear what you have to say. So it's just really interesting that not only can we be not present with our own discomfort, we can't be present with other people's discomfort either. We have to fix it. We want to help. We want to offer solutions. And I think the best thing that we can do in that moment is to just simply listen and then ask what the other person needs. How can we support them? Rather than just saying, "Oh, I think that you should do this," or, "Oh, I see you going through all of this stuff." As if in that moment, because we're not feeling discomfort, we have all the answers. We don't know anything. And that's exactly what we're here to recognize, is that we will, through the experiences of life, we're born, we lose our connection to the divine, and we forget our true nature and our absolute divine powers and the sacredness of our being. And then through our practices of yoga and study, we're here to remember that. And so that's what the Pratyabhijna Hrydaya Tantra says. I'm going to read 2 sutras from this Pratyabhijna Hrydaya Tantra. And it is about when we are feeling off, when we're feeling bad, when we're feeling lost, when we're feeling uncomfortable, and when we are having relationship issues and we're really grasping for the other person to show us love in a way that we feel validated and we feel whole again. That's all part of consciousness expanding and contracting. Okay, so sutra number 9 is Chidvat Tat Shakti Samkochat Malavrataha Samsari. Okay, that means because of the contraction of that power, Shakti, our own personal creative power, divine manifest as our being and our self, that which is full of consciousness, that become caught in the cycles of existence, covered with impurities. So the impurities doesn't mean that we're dirty, we're divine and we're perfect. Impurities are the kleshas. Those are the afflictions, like we were talking about our attachment to pleasure. That's called raga. So the impurities you can think about, as Ram Dass would call it, the dust on the mirror. And these practices are simply just wiping the dust off of the mirror so that you can clearly and actually see what's going on honestly, and to be comfortable with that. And these impurities, when we're caught in that cycle of feeling down, doubtful, insecure, awful, alone, disconnected, those are the sense of being small, the sense of being different or separate from others, and our egotistical sense that we can find blame for what's happening, or that we are responsible for what's happening in that we can control it. Okay, and those are called the malas. The malas, mala just means shell, mala. So that is when we are contracted, when we're caught in these feeling small, feeling separate, placing blame and grasping. We are literally a shell, an empty shell, a hard shell. We have this hard exterior, but underneath it, we're so sensitive. Now, in that hard shell, what's inside of it? Nothing. Space. What can we fill up empty space with? Infinite potential. Anything, right? And so when we're contracted, that's the moment before we break through, when grace reveals herself again. So the next sutra is Tatapi Tadvat Pañcha Krityāni karoti. I love Sanskrit, which means even so, like that, in our contracted state, one performs the 5 acts. So these are the 5 acts of consciousness, or the 5 acts of Shiva, the Pañcha Krityāni. These are Sriśti, which is emanation or creation. Sthiti, which is maintenance. Samhāra, which is dissolution. Vilaya, which is concealment. And Anugraha, which is graceful revelation. So this text from the 16th century is letting us know that when we feel the worst, if we can be comfortable enough and breathe through that space and ask, what do we need to know right now? What's important about this? How can I learn from this gift of discomfort, which means I'm growing? We are capable of consciousness expanding again and again and again. And every time we get through that barrier, which in yoga is called the madhya, that means the space between, the creative void. The madhya is the middle or the center, the space between 2 things, between movements of experience. And these are the spaces that give our experience meaning. I felt like I had to lean in to let you guys know that. The reason that we're so grateful for when we feel creative, when we feel illuminated, when we are enjoying something, it's because we've experienced the opposite. And that's how it works. We have to contract in order to expand. We have to inhale so that we can exhale. And in that empty space, the infinite potential of prana shakti comes back up. We inhale. So we are instruments of consciousness unfolding, contracting, and expanding. And one of the cool ways that you can discover this is through the symbolism of Shiva Nataraj. So Shiva, the destroyer, the transformer, if you were to say the mantra Om Namah Shivaya, it would mean I bow to that universal light of consciousness that is present within you, that allows me to see myself. And we are one in that light. And why can we see the light? Because of the dark, because of the shadow. And that's what Shiva Shakti is represented. Shiva is represented as masculine and feminine, and the merging of ourselves as a whole. And so this whole being is depicted in this circle. And he's in this circle and he is dancing. And I'm saying he because it's consciousness. He's like this. He's moving and he's dancing and his hair is flying. He's got these beautiful dreadlocks and he's in this ring of fire. The ring of fire and the flames represent dissolution. Dissolution is when we feel like we're giving up and it's going to end and it's just dissolving and we're just really in that contracted space. And then the left hand that comes to conceal the heart, that conceals consciousness from your view. So we literally forget that we are divine. And where does this hand point? It points down to this foot. This lifted foot is propelling us to dance. And then this right hand is the mudra, the Abhaya mudra, which means do not fear. So we will forget who we are. We will forget that we're divine. But if we can know that it's a dance, and it's a dance of destruction and dissolution and concealment, and then if we can go through that without fear, we break through and we find the ecstatic dance of bliss into creation in our next form, in our beautiful divine selves. So I feel like I had to go through that. The last week when I canceled class, I was like, there's no way. Nothing good can come from people seeing me like this. Like I felt like the goo that the caterpillar turns into in the chrysalis right before they emerge from the cocoon to become a butterfly. So if you're in that destruction and that grossness and that goo right now, I feel you. I understand. We have to go through those moments. We have no choice. If we're going to be alive and participate in this experience, we go through that. But yoga, I think, is the practice of remembering, forgetting and remembering in all of the different ways, forgetting and remembering to breathe in the practice when we're going to do the asanas, forgetting and remembering that we're divine on the whole level of consciousness, contraction and expansion. We remember, we recognize the heart of consciousness lives within us. And in that central point, that bindu within the sacred yantra that we are as a whole being, lies that heart, that divine beauty. And you are that, my friends. You are that, and I am that. And that's why we're here together, because we want to work toward that. So fear not, as Shiva would say. If you want to just anytime, just put your right hand up, your palm facing out. This is my right hand. So if I'm mirroring you, it would be this one. But you can put your right hand up in Abhaya mudra and remember that consciousness reminds you not to fear. We keep moving. We keep evolving. Nothing will ever be the same until we leave this body in this form and we're simply spirit. Because if something is manifest, it's going to change. And we're in that space now, collectively. What's true? What's real? Who can we trust? What's going to happen? We don't know. So all we can do is breathe. And when we forget to breathe, take another breath. Listen and be guided, because the truth of what's real for you is the language of your heart. Okay? So I'd love to start our practice with the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om means that we're tuning into that field where we exist beyond the fluctuations of Shakti, our energy and the elements and the gunas and everything that's playing. Om is the destination of peace, as my teacher Chandrash would say. So we're tuning into that. We've already achieved that which we're trying to do. And my friend Tamal says that when we use Om before a mantra, we're asking to speak to God. We're prostrating ourselves in front of the divine and saying, please listen. May I offer what I've learned. May I learn from you. I remember that this is an exchange. So the destination of peace. Nama means I bow. I bow, I bow. I give myself to this experience and I honor it. Shivaya is that light of consciousness, the universal light of consciousness, which includes all aspects of ourselves, the shadow and the light, the masculine and the feminine, having nothing to do with gender. Of course, masculine is eternal, unchanging. Feminine is fluid and always changing. So we are all that. We are that light of consciousness. And then the response to that, typically, when you use that, is Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Nama Om. Okay, so that's the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. And I'll type it in the chat so that you can see it if you've never seen it. Okay. And do you see how even the mantra, if you can see in the chat, how even the mantra ends and begins in the same place? It's all part of it. It's all part of that recognition of the heart. We forget, we remember, oh, we come back to where we were. And then when we offer gratitude for that discomfort and we sit in it, we come to the same point, but as a more expanded, more evolved version of ourselves. Okay? Every time we can experience discomfort and get through it and learn from it, we become a better person. Okay? And we remember how divine we are. So let's take a comfortable seat. If you haven't yet, feel free to move around and wiggle and clear your throat. So we'll chant and then we'll get into our asana practice. So I invite you to come into your comfortable opening spot. You might be reclining, you might be in a seat. My teachers would say that when we sit, it's best to have the hips higher than the level of the knees. I'm sitting up on a bolster so that the blood can flow freely and your legs won't fall asleep as easily. And just know that that's a normal thing that happens sometimes, seemingly no matter what you do. When we sit, we have access to energy in our entire auric field, okay? And the central point is our bindu, and that is the heart of our consciousness self, but that we exist about 12 inches out from us in every direction. So our energy field is beyond our actual physical body. So when we sit, we have access to bring energy in and out, and we can filter things through that field. And because we did our cleansing and smudging at the beginning of practice, we are now open to receiving energy, and we can be more of a clear channel from that space of protection. Okay, so we prepare ourselves to talk to the divine in that way by cleansing and preparing, and then internally and externally bowing to that which we're trying to create. I see that somebody wrote something sweet. Cool. Okay. I love that you guys are chatting with each other. Okay. Happy birthday, Paul. So let's find our voice. Chanting and making sound with your body, even if it's not a word, even if it's just a sound, tunes us to the frequency, to the vibration of that destination of peace. Okay, so we're tuning and we're remembering, we're recognizing the heart with our voice. Pratyabhijna Hrydaya is that recognition of the heart. If you'd like to create an intention for your practice, please do so now. And as your breath moves freely through you, let your belly be soft and open and expand through the belly and the ribs and the chest as you inhale. Let the belly be full and free, and use the belly to project your voice by inhaling down into the lower chamber of the lungs. The diaphragm will drop and the belly will expand. And the more that you can keep your belly expansive as you chant, the more vocal power that you'll have. So you can imagine your power center, your dantian, your manipura, your hara center, all of those words in different cultures that have the same meaning of the power center, or your khanda, pranic center. Imagine that as the pot, a flower pot. And that's the pot, that's the dirt, that's the soil where the nutrients are being given to the flower. And so the flower is your voice. Imagine that pot, the flower growing up through the rest of your body and out through your mouth. Cultivating beauty here. Tapping back in. Take a deep breath in. We'll do call and response. Om Namah Shivaya. Your turn. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Your turn. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Last time. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Deep breath in for home. Bow to the light that you are. The light that allows me to see myself. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Okay. Let's go ahead and begin our asana practice. So Leslie requested some core and some balance. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So come onto your back. And our practice will be all levels. So if there's something that is not serving you, just change it or choose not to do it at all. You don't specifically need any props, but if you like to use props, please, by all means, do. Okay, so coming down onto your back, let's take a moment to stretch. You might draw your knees into your chest. You might rock side to side. You might just take your feet up in the air and circle around through your ankles. One of our requests later is shoulder stand and inverted bicycle. So maybe you just start to bicycle through your legs while you're here. Spread out through your toes, roll through your ankles. Inversions that are gentle like this are really good if you are anyone that stands up a lot on your feet. First responders, I can only imagine. One of my best friends is a nurse, and sometimes she doesn't even get time to drink water. So much gratitude for you, Paul, and for all of the first responders and the workers out there in the field taking care of everybody. Let's hug the right knee into the chest and extend the left leg and let it hover away from the floor. And as you exhale, pull your forehead up toward your knee. Inhale, and then exhale and switch. And focus on your exhale. Puff through the nose each time, or even through the mouth. So Kapalabhati, which is breath of fire, skull shining breath, is our opportunity to inhale, but the exhale is the focal point. So we're focusing only on the exhale, and the inhale is a reflex rebound. Curl your torso up, you're balancing on your low back for this one. Kapalabhati is a great way for us to start to cultivate inspiration, fire. So if you're feeling quite fiery already this morning, or if you have any digestive issues, maybe just breathe normally and slow it down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Right leg in, left leg drops. Relax your head down. Hug the knee into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Maybe you hold the leg in a circle out through the right leg. Or if you want to, you can do it without holding your leg, which would give you some more room. Circle the other way if you are. And then hug the right knee in. Take your left hand onto the right leg and draw it across your body in Supta Matsyendrasana, your reclining spinal twist. You can reach out for your right arm, you can bring it up, you can bring it out. Let's take a breath. One more breath, and then return to center. Take your right foot up in the air, hold the back of the right leg, and you might do a little core work by drawing the forehead up toward the shin as you pull the leg back in. And you are welcome to massage your leg while you're there. Maybe move through your ankle or your foot to get a deeper stretch. And then let's switch. Draw the left knee in and drop the right leg down and relax. Pulling in for Pavanamuktasana. So wind relieving pose, we get to start to stoke the fire of digestion, which is really great. Maybe we circle the leg. You can either do it holding the leg, or you could let go of the leg and have a little bit more space. Maybe the other way. And then take the leg across the body when you're ready into your spinal twist. I like to scoot my hips back and to the left a little bit as I bring the leg to the right. And you can reach out through your left arm, out beside you, down or up behind you. We're going to move through your neck, move through your jaw. And then let's return to center, and we'll do one more core exercise. So we're going to be doing some twisting here. You can take your hands to the back of your head, Take an inhale. Keep neutral pelvis this time, so we're not trying to flatten the back. As you exhale, right knee and left elbow in the center, and inhale back. Exhale and twist across the body. So you could do this as a marching thing, lifting one foot and then the other. Or if you'd like, you can bicycle through the legs. One leg stretches out while you twist toward the bent knee. Keep going here. And you get to set the pace. So make sure you're going slow enough to where you can feel your breath and not so fast that you're flinging yourself through with momentum. We want to make sure we're using muscular strength and not just simple perpetual motion. I think that's a metaphor for life with COVID, slowing down, realizing that we were doing things maybe that didn't serve us anymore, but the wheels just kept on turning. Now everything stops and dust settles and we're like, what the heck, where are we? Who am I? What's happening right now? Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, last set. Ooh, let your feet come down. We'll come into our first heart opener. So reach the arms by your sides. Make sure that your head is facing the ceiling. There's nothing under your head. Press down to the upper arms and into the feet and lift the hips up. You can either just stay here with your hips lifted or walk your feet closer together and lift your right leg. And you can do a few circles, starting to bicycle through that leg. And then let's put the right foot down, press the hips up again. Take your left foot up if you want, and make some big circles. And then put it down. Take your hips up as high as you can. Take 2 breaths, stretch your belly. Press it out, drop it. One more belly stretch. Press your little belly out, drop your belly, and then lower the hips down. Hug the knees into the chest, give yourself a squeeze. Feel your low back just gently massaged on the floor. Now let's come to table, so feel free to rock to your side and move up into your table. Feel free to use your blanket underneath your knees if you want to, or you could simply fold up the center of the mat. Spread your hands out wide so you can keep the weight off of your wrists and in the palm. Fingers are wide, index fingers parallel to one another. Soften through the belly, broaden through the chest, stretch it out as you inhale. And then exhale, round your spine, tuck the head, tuck the tail, and keep going. You can do any spinal movement that you want. Maybe it's a little tail wag. Maybe it's a circle. So what kind of spinal movement does your body need today? And let's be mindful the entire practice. If something doesn't serve you, just don't do it. If there is discomfort in the joints, go easy on yourself. Often when we have this much rain, if you're based in Wilmington, North Carolina, it's been raining for like 3 days. Katie, I'm not sure what's going on there in Florence. Usually we have similar weather patterns. Paul, where are you located? Let's take a breath. Come to table, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Let the knees be bent so that you can drape your torso over your thighs and give a nice stretch through the upper body. Let your neck relax. You can turn your head. And then use your core, engage the core, and lift the belly up off of the thighs and step the feet back. If you notice that when you start to straighten your legs that you round forward, bend your knees again, send the hips up. And then if you can keep the spine long and in neutral, only straighten the legs as much as you can keep the spine in neutral. Pedal through your feet if you want to stretch it out. We'll move through a very simple flow, including balance postures, so we can get through all of our requests. Let's take 5 breaths in downward facing dog. Remember that you can come to child's pose anytime. You can put your knees down on the ground. We're pressing the front of the mat down, forward, and away. We're drawing the front ribs in, the navel draws toward the spine, tail is lightly scooped just a little bit so that the low belly can engage. Pelvic floor is activated and lifted, and you're hugging the legs toward one another, and your gaze is either between the shins or between the thighs. Your neck is long. Take one more breath. Soften the knees and look forward and either step or jump to the top of the mat as you exhale. Separate your feet. Walk your hands way up onto your thighs. Bend the knees and fold forward and down. Let your arms dangle. Maybe you hold onto your elbows, maybe you hold the back of the neck. Feel free to take a few big exhales, maybe horse lips in there somewhere. Let's take 2 more breaths. Feel free to bounce a little. Relax your arms. Draw the navel toward the spine and rise up. Raise your arms. Take a big inhale. Celebrate. Exhale your hands down to your heart. Walk the feet closer to each other and come to the top of your mat. We're coming into Surya Namaskar B. Sit down into your chair and raise your arms. Your feet can be a couple of inches apart or together, but see if you can keep the hips moving back so that the knees are not beyond the toes. Scoop the tail slightly, draw the ribs back, and take 3 breaths here. Sit a little lower, 2. Give your neck and shoulders some space, 1 more breath. Now fold, Uttanasana. Put some weight in your toes, relax the neck. Inhale, hands to your shins or to the floor, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, plant the hands and step back to plank. Try to keep your shoulders right above your wrists. Option 1, bring your knees down. Option 2, keep the knees up. Press forward, draw your body down to the floor, through chaturanga, down to your belly. Walk the legs back, press to the tops of the feet. Keep the low back long as you shrug the shoulders up and back. For Bhujangasana, for Baby Cobra, the legs are active, but the tail is scooping, so you can feel your low back long. Shoulder blades are drawn together for the heart opener. And exhale, relax. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your hips, and inhale your right leg up and back. As you exhale, step it forward. Lift onto your left tippy toes to get the right foot between the hands. And then ground the back heel down at a 45-degree angle, but keep the right hip moving back. Everything faces to the front of the mat for this variation of Virabhadrasana 1. As you exhale, you might sweep the hands back and clasp your forearms or your fingers, taking a heart opener while you're here. Take a breath. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Unplug the back heel, lean forward. Warrior 3. Feel free to play with the arms. As you exhale, you can fly the arms back behind you. Inhale, arms sweep forward. Exhale, arms sweep back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Toes toward the face. Last inhale, reach out. Exhale the arms back, step back, find your warrior 1, ground the back heel. Inhale your arms and chest lift. Exhale, hands come down. Now, bring your body right over your wrists and step back, knees, toes, or even one leg. Exhale through chaturanga. Maybe you hover this time. Press to the tops of the feet if you'd like to come into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. You're really pressing down through the feet. You're drawing the pelvic floor up, low belly up, navel up, heart open, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg rises. Lift up high onto your right tiptoes, look forward and step forward as you exhale. Get your foot up there. Ground the back heel down. Roll the left hip point back and rise as you inhale. Stay there or exhale. Reach back, hold the forearms or clasp the fingers. Lift the heart. Feel free to stay upright. Now, when you're ready, release your arms. Unplug your back heel and send your arms forward. Step up for warrior 3. Exhale, fly the arms back. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, arms back. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, arms back. Step back, warrior one. Raise your arms, inhale. Sit into your lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Step back, knees, toes, or one-legged plank. And exhale through chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. And an exhale out. 2 more breaths. Child's pose is also a great option. One more breath. Soften the knees and look forward. Step or jump to your gaze point. Take a half lift, inhale, flat back. Exhale and fold. Sit into your chair. Drop the hips, raise the arms, inhale. And then exhale, rise to stand. Maybe through a heart opener. Reach the heart up, push into your toes, press your hips forward. And then exhale, let everything land. Tadasana, arms down by the sides. Or if you'd like, fear not. Abhaya Mudra, the right palm faces forward, palm out. And then maybe you can just bring your left hand by your side. One more breath. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose, sit low, reach high. Exhale, fold forward, dive, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, look up. Exhale, step to plank. If you want to jump, you jump to bent elbows. Step back and lower down. Inhale through cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift the hips. Adding on here, inhale your right leg high, but then bend your knee as you exhale and open the hip. Ugh. Feel free to circle around. Maybe you're in table, you can bring your left knee down to take the weight out of your wrists. Circle the other way. Reach it all the way up, lift up high onto your left hip toes, look forward. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Rise up on your inhale. Exhale, reach back and clasp the forearms or clasp the fingers. Inhale and lift the heart. This time, either stay up or exhale to humble warrior. Bring your chest forward and you can stop there. Or keeping the right hip point rolling back, snuggle your torso inside the right leg and try to keep the ankle and knee aligned. Feel free to challenge your balance by dropping the head to look back at your navel, Navadrishti. If that's a little bit challenging, you can just look forward at the foot, but your neck stays long. Roll the right hip point back and hug the heels together to rise. Inhale. Sweep the arms back as you exhale and unplug the back heel. Get ready. Inhale, superhero pose, rise, warrior 3. If you like, exhale, fly your arms back. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, arms back. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, arms back, step back, find your lunge. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, come through Vinyasa. Knees, toes, or one-legged plank as you exhale, chaturanga. Inhale through your back bend. Cobra up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale your left leg high. Bend your knee. Open up your hip if you want to. Maybe circle. Feel free to bring your right knee down for more support. Keep work in both hands. Switch to circle. Take it all the way up. Lift up high onto the right tip toes. Exhale, warrior 1. Grounding the back heel down. Roll the left hip point back. Hips face forward. Raise your arms. Inhale. Exhale. Clasp your forearms or left thumb on top and lift your chest. Stay there if you want to, or you can lean forward. Keep rolling the left hip point back. And if you'd like, you can snuggle your chest inside your thigh. If you'd like a challenge, look at your navel. Hey there, belly button. My friend's 4-year-old little boy always wants to find our belly button. So find your belly button. There it is. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sweep the arms back. Unplug the back heel. Get ready. Inhale, fly. That what you'd like to manifest. Exhale, fly the arms back. Inhale, reach out to that moment of creativity and creation. Exhale, fly the arms back. Let go of the results. Inhale, we take action. Exhale, we let go of expectation. Step back, warrior one, inhale. Exhale, hands come down. Either step back, down dog, or step back, knees, toes, or one-legged plank through chaturanga, exhaling. Inhale for your back bend. And exhale, take a still point for about 7 breaths here. Feel free to sit. Feel free to come to child's pose or down dog. Or if anybody would like to take an inversion, go ahead. Water is a nice thing to do for yourself anytime. Okay, if you're inverted, go ahead and slowly come back to earth. Take an exhale maybe through your mouth. And we'll meet, no rush, in downward facing dog. Anugraha Savasana. Inhale, raise your right leg up. As you exhale, bend your knee and open your hip. Option to stay here. Option to start to soften the left knee. Spin the left heel out and then step the right foot down as you lift the right arm up. This is Kapakrasana or wild thing. So your left leg is straight, your dorsiflexion and your toes towards your face. You're balancing on your left hand. Inhale, open up through your chest, bend the elbow as you exhale. Inhale, reach your arm out. Exhale, bend. One more time, inhale. Exhale, bend, and then spin around and we'll find downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Either stay there or bend the right knee, spin the heel out, step your left foot back, straighten that right leg, press into both feet. Reach and pull as you exhale. Left arm out, inhale. Exhale, pull, open. One more inhale. Exhale, pull, and then come on back to downward facing dog. Stay there, or optional, plank to chaturanga. Exhale, lower through your push-up. Inhale for your back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high. Lift up off your left heel, look forward, and step forward as you exhale. Now, when you're ready, pushing into both feet, walk the right foot out just a little bit wider so we're in below train tracks, okay? Walk up or sweep up coming into crescent lunge. We'll take a twist here. So activating the core, start to pull everything to the midline. As you exhale, open your arms to your right. This is a balance pose because the back heel is lifted. So we're balancing, equal weight in both legs. If you want to make this a little bit harder, you can start to bring your left forearm on the front thigh and slide your left leg back more. Even more still, come into that prayer twist variation. Lift the back heel up as high as you can. Now we're going to find balance as we step into a twisted chair pose. So look down at the floor, hold whatever twist you have, and step forward. Feet are next to each other. Reset, and bring your left hand to your heart and your right arm high. Sit in your chair, inhale. Exhale, twist to your right again. Look down at your feet, pick up your left foot, and step it back. Inhale, open up into a wide twist, big arms. Exhale, left hand down, right arm high. We'll step back side plank here, so start to spin your heels to your left and your toes to your right. I'm on the pinky toe blade of that back foot. Walk your right foot further, halfway down, or stagger your feet, or stack the feet. Take 3 breaths. If you find that's too much on your wrist, you put your right foot on the ground. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. Step back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step forward, jump. Top of your mat. Half lift, inhale, and exhale and fold. Rise up, inhale, take a back bend. Lift up out of your low back, open your chest, and exhale, return. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold, dive, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, look up. Exhale, let's step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg high. Lift up off your right heel. Exhale, step into crescent lunge. So your feet are in separate lanes, your back heel is lifted. Rise up when you're inhale. As you exhale, open your arms to your right. Either stay here, or if you can, bring your right forearm onto your front thigh and take your left arm back further. If you'd like, you can slide the elbow outside the thigh and press the palms together. So either right forearm on the thigh or palms together, look down, step into a chair twist. So lift your right foot, step it next to your left foot, reset, equal weight in both legs, hips back, right hand to the heart, left arm up, inhale. Exhale into your chair. Inhale there. Exhale, twist to your left again. Look down, lift your right foot, let it hover, and step back into crescent warrior. Your back heel is lifted. Fly your arms open, twist to your left. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, your right hand down and left arm high. Option to stay right there. If you want, come into side plank by spinning the heels to the right and start to walk your left foot halfway down your mat, or you might step back and stagger or stack your feet. Whoa. Either one, 3 breaths. One more breath. And then come on down, downward facing dog as you exhale. Child's pose, everybody. Knees can be slightly apart. Sit back. If you'd like to keep your head lifted, you can just bring your forearms down. Make a pillow for your forehead. Or you can let it rest on the floor. We'll take 5 breaths. Imagine your child's pose, your movement as a seed. That empty shell, that mala. And in order to be a mala, we have to be experiencing unfulfilling emotions, like feeling disconnected and lonely and insecure and afraid and separate from one another. And in that moment, we are open to infinite potential. Spontaneous grace occurs after we forget and after we surrender into forgetting. I think maybe this is just going to be how it is from now on. Consciousness conceals itself. Then grace happens and we remember that we do have the power to change our lives because we have all these tools. Let's go ahead and rise up. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Relax your neck. Bend the knees, gaze forward and step or jump forward to the top of your mat. Take a half lift and inhale. And exhale and fold. We'll spend some 5 breaths here in your fold. Any arm placement that you like. Soften the knees, draw the navel to the spine, and rise to stand. Reach your arms in the air and stay standing. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale, bend the elbows and hug the shoulder blades together behind you as the chest lifts. Grip with your toes. Inhale, raise the arms, press the hips forward, lift the chest higher. Exhale, deepen your back bend by lifting out of the low back and hugging the shoulder blades together. Inhale, arms go up, back bend deepens, but because you're long, exhale, bend the elbows. That's where the heart opening comes from. One more time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, take your deepest expression yet. Make sure that you're pushing down in both feet. Scoop the tail forward, press the hips forward, lift your belly up, lift your heart up, hug the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, bend the knees. Separate your feet and take your hands onto your thighs. Do some spinal flexion and extension here. Cat, cow, in your chair. And then let's sit down, maybe without using your hands if you can, just for fun. Okay, coming into a seat. We're coming into Navasana, which is a balanced pose. It's also core work as well. And Navasana is a way for us to become the chalice. So it's that sacred chalice that it's the goblet, it's the holy grail. It's us being what gets filled up. So that beautiful sacred artifact, we are that. We're all of it. So when you're ready, if you want to, you can just have your fingertips behind you, making sure that your neck is long and your chest is open and your core is engaged. If you want, you can hold behind the legs, lean back a little bit and lift your feet. Let the weight of the legs and your arms roll the shoulders back and lift the chest up, so let it be a heart opener. If you can, no hands and balance. If you want even more, you might inhale to Ardha Navasana, scoop the tail, find the low back, toes engaged. And then exhale, lift your chest, pull up. Inhale back. Exhale up. For 3, 2, last one. Straighten everything up. Drop your feet. Lift your chest. Walk your hips back a little bit. Separate your feet slightly. Reach the arms by your sides. Excuse me, we'll come into Dandasana, which is staff pose. So depending on how long your arms are in relation to your torso, you might be needing blocks under your hands here. But if you can touch the floor with your fingertips or palms, then just press down wherever you can. So just make sure your hand is pressing against something. And then we press into the floor to use the core to feel the spine get longer. Your feet are stamped on an invisible wall. You are strong like a staff. Danda. Keep the length of your torso by engaging the core and raise the arms. And we'll come into Paschimottanasana. So start to lean forward and pause. So we're keeping our spine out of flexion. So maintain a little bit of cobra in the chest. Notice how you might have to stay up pretty far. Maintain extension in the spine as you continue to breathe. Or, if you'd like, you can put your hands on your shins or on the floor. Continue to maintain extension, but if there's no cautions for the spine, no disc issues, no osteoporosis, then you can go ahead and come into flexion if you want to. But keep allowing your breath to help create space from the inside. Three more breaths. Slowly and gently rise up. Reach your arms all the way up in the air. Inhale. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Now, present the palms open in front of you, and if you don't have enough space behind you on your mat to lie down, then walk forward a bit. So we're coming right into Sarvangasana, which is shoulder stand, but keep in mind that it is Salamba Sarvangasana, which means that we are supported by the upper arms. So if you've not seen this variation, maybe watch first, because once you get down onto your back, anytime that you put weight on your neck, you do not turn your head, okay? You keep your head straight so that the spine can be safe. So please don't fling yourself into it and then turn your head to look at wherever your screen is. So your head stays straight. So maybe watch first. So if you'd like, you can go on ahead into it by scooping the tail, rolling back, and then you press into the upper arms, push into the upper arms to lift the hips up. So it's fluid rather than like a fling. It's more like a roll and press. So when you're ready, go ahead and come on to your back and get on up. And if that does not feel good or serve you, you can lay on your back and you can just take your feet up a wall, or maybe there's a block underneath your pelvis. Keep working to snuggle the shoulder blades closer together and make sure the neck is long by lifting the chin away from the chest. Press the shoulders back and down. Now, if you want to, you can start to get into that bicycle. Maybe bend one knee and straighten the other leg, and just let it be a nice stretch for the front of one thigh. Feel free to go in a linear bicycle, or you could do more like a helicopter type of thing. But again, make sure you're only looking up. The weight is in your arms, not your neck. Have fun and play. Pretty sure that this is Paul's favorite posture. Happy birthday, Paul. Let's take another full breath. Now, coming into Halasana or plow pose, you want to maintain the length in your low back. Okay, so send the hips back just a little bit, but stay on the hips with the hands. If when you bring your feet back, they do not touch the floor, then you keep your hands at your low back. And if the feet do touch the floor, only then is it safe to release the hands. Otherwise, keep your hands at your low back. I like to keep them there because sometimes it just helps me keep my belly from pressing into my lungs. Deep breaths. Feel free to bend your knees any amount, and maybe the knees come to the temples, or maybe they come beside the ears for Pratyabhijna ear pressure pose. Make sure you can still breathe though. Now, start to put the weight of your hips in your hands. Move your hands further out on the hips so that you can use your arms as brakes to roll the body down. Come to the point where your hips are on the ground and your legs are up in the air. Okay, and then from there, bring your feet together and your knees apart and reach for your feet and pull them in and give them a little massage there in the air if you can. And if you'd like, you can hold the shins or the outsides of the feet to move into Happy Baby. And feel free to rock. Feel free to play. Let the knees move down by the sides. And see if you can press your hips back down toward the floor as you enjoy Ananda Balasana. Blissful baby. And release the feet. Take the kneecaps in your hands and circle the legs out and back in. And go the other way. Now we're going to move into Matsyasana fish pose, which is a counter pose to shoulder stand. So first, take your legs up in the air, reach your arms by your sides, press forward, push into your arms, and pull with your hands and sit all the way up. Okay, so come into your seat. Now we're coming onto our forearms behind us. Okay, so while you're sitting up, you might want to watch the two options so that you can choose what will be as safe for you. So because once we get into the posture, it's not safe for you to turn your head. So option one, from a seat, you put your forearms down behind you, and you can just send the tips of the thumbs or whatever you need to underneath your hips, but you're not straight up sitting on your hands because your hands and your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. And you press into your upper arms to open your heart, and you can keep your chin tucked to your chest, And then making sure that you're engaging the core all the way up near the rib cage. You can start to lengthen the neck back to your comfort level. And some of you might be able to let the head drop back and close the eyes. So that's option one. Option two is to come into fish pose from L pose. So if you can come into the full arcing of the spine with the crown of the head down, you start on your back first with your legs in the air. You press into your hands, and as the legs lower, you push into your forearms, and you lift your chest, you take the crown of the head back and down. So either one, go ahead and find your Matsyasana, your fish pose, so that you are supporting yourself with your forearms. You're not bearing all of the weight on your head. Deep breaths here. Move around through your jaw. Feel free to make a few big exhales with some noise. And then as you exhale, tuck your chin. Lie down. Sometimes after that pose, I have to cough. Clear your throat. Feel free to turn your neck just gently side to side. And then let's bring the bottoms of the feet together and let the knees drop apart. You're welcome to put blocks under here, or you could take your arms and just kind of smuggle them up right underneath the hips. Or put your hands under there, whatever feels comfortable. And let's allow gravity to open up through the inner thighs. Let your upper body be completely relaxed so that your lower body can start to soften. The internal groin, hip flexor tendon attachments are super tight and thick. Not just because our legs and our body are strong, but because we have been through some potentially traumatic situations and our body is trying to protect us. So know that this posture might feel kind of vulnerable or very vulnerable. And if that's the case, one of the ways that I like to temper it is to put a blanket over the legs and pelvis so that I feel safe. So feel free to do that now. Put a blanket over you. You might even let your hands linger there, right above the lower two chakras, the root and the sacral, Muladhara and Svadhisthana. Responsible for your foundation, your security, stability, your Sthiti, Sthira, and the second chakra responsible for your personality, your sensuality, your ability to be sensitive and feeling and open, your sexuality and your ability to connect with another person, and also your ability to go with the flow. Know that our root chakra might be quite imbalanced right now because our security is simply not present. Our foundation has been rocked. We have no idea when, if, what, where, how. So I think what the pandemic is teaching us is to simply be present and to learn how to sit in spaces of uncertainty and discomfort. When you're ready, use your hands to help you bring your knees close together, and then do the opposite. Turn your heels out and let your knees rest together in constructive rest pose. And if your low back is feeling it, you might do some pelvic tilts. So the hips are staying down, but you're just scooping your pelvis in and out. When you're ready, flip over onto your belly. I'm going to do a psoas release here. So come up onto your forearms into Sphinx pose. And let your legs be a little bit wider than you normally would. Press into your forearms and scoop your tail and draw your belly up to protect your spine. Then, if you'd like to, you can bend your right knee and push your right thigh down as you scoop your pelvis. So for me, it's a lot of core work, but I am getting a release through the front of the right thigh, and I make you shake. And then do the other one. Core engaged, tail scooped, press the pivot bone toward the floor, and then push the thigh down as you draw the left heel in. Now, soften your belly down. Find your heart opener. So let the shoulder blades draw open. Push into your forearms and try to drag your heart forward away from your hips. Now bend your right knee and turn to look at your right foot. And then release. And bend your left knee and turn to look at your left foot. And release. Now bend your right knee, turn to look at your right foot. If you want more, turn your left forearm in, bring your right hand out by your side, and keep your pelvis stable, both thighs on the ground, and turn to look to your right foot. Some of you might be able to reach back and catch the right foot and draw the heel toward the glute and spin the fingers forward. If this is too much, you can come onto your belly and draw the foot in. Keep pushing the thigh down, keep scooping the tail. Release, and come all the way down. Either take one cheek to the mat or let your forehead rest. Lift your feet and rock your feet side to side. Stretch out your low back. Then relax your legs behind you. Come back up onto your forearms again and bend your left knee. Engage your core, lift your rib cage up. Spin your right palm in, bring your left hand out. If you want to reach back and grab the foot with your left hand, you can. Draw it in, spin your fingers forward, and then turn your chest forward more. Do the work to stabilize your pelvis by scooping the tail. Keep the compression out of the low back by also pushing down with your right forearm and dragging your heart forward. Keep pushing the left thigh down, and then release. Release your foot, release everything. Come down, opposite cheek to the mat or forehead down. Lift your feet, rock them side to side or in a circle. Release. Press yourself up. And then just go ahead and spin around. We're coming into your Savasana now. So if you want one last seated stretch, let's bring the feet together and the knees apart, letting the chest move forward. If that's too much, you can let your feet move out to a big V shape, Upavishta Konasana. In fact, I think I might do that now. Feel free to take the glutes back on each side and walk forward. Okay, now we're ready for rest time. So those of you that have props, if you would like to use your props, please feel free to do so. And while you rest, I'll play a mantra for you called the Nirvana Shatkam. The Nirvana Shatkam it's a Shiva mantra. And again, let's think about Shiva not as masculine or a man. Let's think about Shiva as the balance and the union of the masculine and the feminine, and the dance that occurs to bring both into illumination and through that destruction and transformation that we all go through. Because that's what Shiva represents. Shiva means the destroyer. But I like to call Shiva the transformer. So this mantra basically says that truth, consciousness, and bliss is our true nature, and may we be delivered there. We are that light of consciousness. We are truth and consciousness and bliss. We are the complete removal of sorrow. We are that movement from shadow to light and back again. Fear not, brothers and sisters. Consciousness reveals itself as grace in the darkest and most uncomfortable of moments. We are power itself, Shakti. We are the 5 acts of consciousness expanding, the Pañcha Krityāni. We are all of it and more, so fear not. When you're ready, begin to deepen your breath. You may find that as you breathe, you want little movements. Feel free to take those. You might close your practice on your back, or you might find your way into a comfortable seat. And wherever you are, perhaps it makes sense in your body to bring your right palm just gently facing outward in that Abhaya Mudra, the fear not. Fear not, for I am consciousness itself. I am truth, consciousness, and bliss. I am Shiva, Shivoham, Shivoham. Which also means I am destruction, because I'm transformation. And after you've had that Abhaya Mudra for a while, just go ahead and let it rest comfortably and gently over your heart. A space of unconditional love for yourself. Keep being gentle to yourself, taking care of yourself, bringing us in direct connection with Source every day and practicing present moment awareness. As you care for the beautiful animal of your body and flesh, so that spirit can merge again and again every day. If you'd like, let's close our practice with the sound of Om, that destination of peace. Let's take a deep breath. Vow to each of you, to that light of consciousness that is so bright, helps me to see myself. Namaste. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll come up and say bye-bye in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Courtney. I'm not sure if Courtney showed up today. And everybody. So thank you so much. If you have anything that you want to share with the group, please feel free to type it in the chat. And I'll put the name of our text that we studied, the Pratyabhijna Hrydaya, in the video notes, so that you can check that out if you'd like. Thank you all. If you feel called to do so, I'd love if you wanted to comment on this video, because that helps me when I get responses to drive people to the content so that I can continue to make these videos for you guys, and we can share it with as many people who need to practice with us. Yes, Leslie, from shadows to light. Thank you. And if it's cloudy outside, know that it's going to be sunny again soon, but how can we enjoy the clouds? As soon as I stopped chanting, I heard the frogs singing. Whack, whack, whack. So enjoy your day, everybody. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Namaste and happy birthday, Paul. Peace.